have found my new #1 suburb community around Houston, and it is a place out in Porter, Texas, and I am absolutely in love. Me and my wife stopped by the other day to kind of get some content and some footage, and we pulled up and we were immediately, our breaths were taken away. We're just like, this is the place that we have to be. You know, we're looking in these model homes. We're putting Chandler's room in the front. We're putting the office in the back. We just got all the wheels rolling. We just absolutely fell in love. And that community is called the Highlands in Porter, Texas. In this video, I'm gonna give you all pros and cons of living out in Porter, Texas in the Highlands. So stay tuned if that's something that you're interested in. Hi, my name is Aaron. I'm a real estate consultant, and every week I'm helping buyers relocate to and throughout the greater city of Houston. So if you need to know anything about where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up morning, noon, or night. I'm your guy. I'm gonna throw my number on the screen right now. Texting me is probably the fastest way to get in touch with me. If you need to hit me up on social media, shoot me an email, give me a call, whatever is easiest for you. I would love to be your resource. So we did it. We walked into this community, found our place, and we're just like, that's it. That's it. All these other communities, if you've been watching my channel long enough, you know that I have said a couple times that this is in my top 3, this is in my top 5. This is my new #1 community, and I have to move there. I don't know how I'm gonna figure it out, but I have to move there, and I have to have a specific builder, and we're gonna work until we get that done. But the community is the Highlands out in Porter, Texas, and I want to go over some of the pros and some of the cons of what we saw in our experience while we were out there, just kind of getting some content and getting some info for some prospective clients that are moving in from out of state. And I just want to give them a great option, and we ended up falling in love for ourselves. So the first pro that we have is that it is an absolutely stunning, gorgeous location. You know, if you're familiar with the Woodlands and you know how that thing is basically like wrapped in trees and greenery, you pull up to the community and you're instantly surrounded by trees. And to me, that's something that's very rare because, you know, sometimes Texas and Houston and Katy and all these other suburbs that you kind of go in can just feel really like flat and just really brown and just really like it's all streets and buildings, and that's basically all you have. And this just didn't feel that way. Like, it was just honestly one of the prettiest things that I'd ever seen. Me and my wife, this is the first time in a while, and we do these kind of tours all the time. I do touring with clients all the time. I do community previews with clients all the time. And this is the first time in a while that my breath was just like taken away. Like, we pulled up and we were just like, my goodness, this is really beautiful. This is beautiful. And you're just riding through, and it's just the winding roads going through the different lakes and different amenities that they're gonna have at the community. You see the signs of the things that are gonna come, and you're just like, oh my goodness. Like, it is just an absolutely gorgeous location that they picked. And you know, time will tell whether or not they keep that same infrastructure. They keep all those trees surrounding it. It gives it kind of like a Woodlands kind of vibe. So if you know what that's like, you go up into the Woodlands, and then you get in the Woodlands and you don't know where you are. It's the same kind of vibe, and Caldwell really did an outstanding job with picking that location and keeping the trees in place like they have. It's really one of the prettiest things that I'd ever seen. And I can't wait until it's completely built out, just because I can kind of already see it's got me pumped up. I can already see what's going to happen. And it's just, that's the #1 thing for me right now, is that it's an absolutely gorgeous community. It's a gorgeous site. And I hope that they keep that same charm and that same infrastructure of everything that they have going on out there in the Highlands. The next thing is that it is very close. To say that it is in Porter, Texas. Now, prior to this, I'd only been out to Porter, Texas maybe like 2 or 3 times. But for that location and where it is, it's very near to your Kroger. I saw your HEB. I saw a couple little outdoor, little outlet-y sort of things. I saw a couple movie theaters. There was a lot of infrastructure and stuff in that area, which kind of shocked me, just because I'm looking at it on the map and I'm just like, okay, it shouldn't be that far out. But depending on kind of where you turn in some of these locations, when you're going out to brand new developments, is no infrastructure there. And so you don't know kind of what you're going to expect. You don't know if it's going to be like out in the boonies and all you're seeing is cow pastures and horse pastures. Like, you don't know what you're going to see. And driving in, I'm just like, Damn, man, that's a nice little HEB. That's a nice little Kroger. Oh, that's a movie there. That looks brand new. Like, it's just all this infrastructural stuff that you can have kind of at your fingertips that you don't expect if you're not in that area. And like I said, I'd only been out there like probably like 4 or 5 times before we went out there to go and get some content for a couple clients just that are interested in that area. And I was just very shocked that there was so much stuff out there and so much infrastructure. It didn't feel like you were going to need to have to go to a super far away city just to get everything you need. Everything was basically off of 99, and right within 3 to 5 minutes of just getting on 99, you're right back into civilization. So that was also an amazing thing to see whenever you're going into a developing community like this. Now, the next thing that was super gorgeous to me and awesome is that there's going to be so many amenities that are coming with this place. All right, so this place has its own lakes, it has its own trails, it has its own lazy river. So you're going to be able to do the kayaking and the water sports and all these things like you can kind of see going on in the background right now, right? So they also have their own golf course. So as I'm driving down 99 and I'm looking at this golf course, I'm just like, it literally is just taking my breath away. As I'm looking at this community, it's been so far, it's like one of the only communities where I was just like, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is perfection. No notes. I want to be here. I gotta be here. And I want to find a way to be here. It just really was such a gorgeous community. And as you can see right now, they're still at an affordable price, right? So this is the moment where you can get in and still be, this is the cheapest that this is going to ever be, right? So the sooner you get in, the better. If you want to go check a tour out, let me know. I would definitely love to hop on over there with you and just kind of show you and give you some of my guidance on what I'm thinking about the area. But yeah, the amenities. So you're going to have, there's going to be a welcome center that's going to have different amenities. I think there's going to have like a gym and some things in there as well. The outdoor fun, you're going to be able to, they have some like little climbing sections that they were setting up while we were out there in the model home park area. They're just building out that amenity center. There's going to be like a little sports recreational sort of park. And again, the lazy river, the lakes, the trails, and your own golf course. Like, that's just some exclusive stuff that a lot of these communities don't necessarily have that they're building. And so to see them getting prepped, I love golf. So one of those things, I'm just like, man, I can just have my clubs out. I'm already thinking about the golf cart that I can go and get, man. I'm just really just picturing myself there. But it just, the amenities of this place were just gorgeous. Chef's kiss. I can't wait to see it when it's all the way done. And hopefully I'm becoming one of your neighbors over there. All right, so the next thing that is super awesome about that location is that up there, and as you kind of get further and further away from the city, you'll start to see that the safety ratings get a little bit better. And so, not my words, there's going to be a link in the description so you can kind of do the research on your own about Porter. But the safety ratings are better, right? So for some of the like violent crimes and things that we have that happen down here in the city of Houston, as you kind of get further and further away, you don't necessarily see and or have that as much or as frequent, right? And so just my first impressions, just kind of in conjunction with what the reports say, my first impression, it was super clean. People were super nice. People were super friendly. I definitely saw people of different backgrounds, which is super important to me, as a black man. And with a black family, it is often, sometimes we go out to some of these locations and we can be out there an hour, 2 hours, and we see like no black families. And so for me, that always just has a different layer of, would my family feel safe? Would we feel judged if we were outside for a run or for a walk? Would we feel weird or feel like we were out of place just because there's no diversity there? And while we were there, we saw, several black families. We saw some Hispanic families out there. We saw some people of Asian descent out there checking out the location. So you already see that there's going to be a nice mix of people just while we were out there touring, which is always a good sign. and everybody was saying hey and just kind of being super friendly. It was just a really good vibe out there that I don't necessarily get that same kind of I guess vibe and feel when I'm in different places, right? So safety ratings, feeling like a little bit more of a diversity. It kind of felt on the diversity line a little bit closer to Cyprus. Which is why one of the reasons why me and my wife really like going out and being in Cyprus, just because it seems like I see more of different types of people as I go out to Cyprus. And this kind of had a similar sort of feel, wrapped in the package of the gorgeous amenities that are going to come, and the shopping and just the gorgeous location. It's really going to be something special when it's done. But safety, and feeling safe, and that's an important thing to me or anybody. If you have a family, or even if you don't have a family, you want to feel like you can feel safe and be comfortable in your own home. And I think that the Highlands in Porter, Texas does that and provides that for you. And the last thing that I saw is a pro, and this is more so for people with families, and that is that the schools in the area are super solid. So if you are having a kid that's about to go to school, if you have a kid that's in that elementary school all the way up through high school, you're going to have a great education that you don't have to necessarily worry about thinking about private school or anything like that, right? You're in a community like this, you're going to have, the things that you are worried about. Maybe it costs a lot, whatever the case may be, but worrying about school is not going to be something that you are forced to think about, just because the schools in the area are going to be super solid out in that county, right? And again, let me know if that makes any sense to you. I'm going to drop a link in the description, where you can do your own research on the schools that are available in that Porter area and see if it is actually a great fit for you and or your family. And so that I love it. It's my new number one place. I've fallen in love. I have decided that my family is moving there, and we are going to have a Drees home. We have made the decision it's going to happen. But no place is perfect. And so, I said all those great things about the community, but I want you to know that there are also some cons, just like there are cons anywhere. Although I think the pros far outweigh the cons. These are some things that you're going to want to think about and know as you are making your decision about whether or not the Highlands is a great fit for you. And so the first thing is that you have to know that because you're in a place like this and you're going to have these gorgeous amenities and you're going to have this great community, it even offers a 55 plus section out here. So that's always a good thing. Just to kind of have that mix of, commercial, residential, 55 plus residential, just so you can really build a community. It's going to be like 2,500 square feet. But having said all that, to have all of that infrastructure and to have it look as nice as it's going to look, it is going to come with a fairly strict HOA. That's just now. I think the first families, just from following their pages out there, I think the first families are just going to start moving in like this week. It is like it's very recent. Out there talking to some of the sales team the other day, a couple sections are like just getting electricity. So this is like the pioneers of the Highlands are there and starting there right now. But just seeing how gorgeous it's going to be and the things that are going to be there, you can almost tell right out the gate that there's going to be a fairly strict HOA, just because most of these places are right now. Some people don't like HOAs because they feel like they're restrictive, or they feel like it's kind of like a Debbie Downer, or it's a burden, or you're like, I'm paying all this money to be in this place. I should be able to do whatever I want with the home that I'm paying for and the community that I'm in. But as someone that's in real estate and someone that lives in a community right now that doesn't have like a super strict deed restricted HOA community, there's a guy across the street from our neighborhood right now that has 2 connexes in his or shipping containers in his front yard, and he's like housing bees in them. And because there's no one in our overall community to be like, dude, you can't do that because we can't restrict him, that kind of thing can occur. right? But in a community like this, you're never going to have those kind of issues of nuisance sort of issues where you have a neighbor that's doing something super weird. They're out making a bunch of noise, making a bunch of ruckus, have the old crappy car in the front yard. That sort of thing can't happen in a community like this. And so although, you can have some issues about some negative Nancy's out there maybe writing you up for having your garbage can being out there, or parking on the street in a weird way that you're not supposed to. Even though you may have some of those kind of annoying sort of issues, the overall goal is to make sure that you are in fact having a pleasant experience, and that everybody can see the beauty in the neighborhood just as you did when you decided to buy there, right? So I see the point of it, but you can almost know that you're going to have a fairly strict HOA whenever you move to somewhere like this. All right, the next thing that was really sucky, but it comes from the perspective of if you are someone that is going to need to be in and out of the actual city of Houston, or somewhere that's a little bit past the city of Houston on a consistent basis, the traffic and the commute to and from that city is going to be a little bit crappy. But that's based on a couple things. The first thing is that you are on 99. So if you know anything about, just where that is location wise, there's the little loop, right? 610. Then you have all these beltways that kind of go around it, and then you have 99. So even from a mile standpoint, just looking at it, that 99 loop is a humongous loop that just kind of goes around everything. And so for those communities that are kind of on the outskirts, 99 is kind of how you get to most of those things. And so for me to get back to my house, we had to go all the way to 99 to 45, and just the amount of interstate that had to take just to get to 45, and then do another like 15 miles down south. That took us, we were going up there against traffic. It only took us like 35 minutes. I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's gorgeous. But having, the lifestyle that I have, where I could sometimes be forced to be in Rasharon, or be forced to be in an Alvin or a Manville, that would be almost probably I would say a 2-hour drive damn near, with my lifestyle of being a real estate agent. So if you had, a lifestyle that kind of took you out and about, and you were out in the boonies, and you were, far out, it's one of those things that would be super, super difficult for you to make that commute. Like you would definitely feel that. And like I said, we did our touring and we were doing our stuff. We got our content. We left right around 4. So right before, I would say, work time or exit traffic for people that were leaving work to go home. And it took us like a solid 50 minutes with traffic basically the whole time to get down. Now, considering that I live, in the energy corridor once in my life, and it would take me like an hour and a half to sometimes 2 hours to get home. Was it the absolute worst? No. But because of the location that you are on, it definitely is going to feel like a long drive if you ever have traffic. And just kind of piggybacking off of that for the next con is that because of where you are, you're off of 99. And so location wise, because you're off of 99, that means you need 99. And because you need 99, that means you're going to probably be paying tolls, right? So having a toll be a part of your basic everyday life right now, I don't see any way that they can cut through or cut around being in that area without paying a toll. But you can kind of see right now, off of 99, this is where you're going to be. You're close to New Caney. You're close to the Woodlands. Like, this is really a great location. But the way that you get here right now is going through 99. And so we got on here and we had to pay basically to get to here, right? And there's no way around that I can see. And it doesn't look like there's any infrastructure to help you get around that through a spring or anything like that. And again, I'm not the most knowledgeable about this area. I've only been up here a handful of times. But right then, I think I probably paid, if I'm counting the tolls, I think it was like $5 or $6 just to get from 45 to here. So averaging that in on what your daily lifestyle is, do you need to be in the city? You're probably going to pay, $5 to $10 a day just to get to and from your house if you live in this location. And so that's something that you're definitely going to want to take into consideration. If you want to cut out some of this 45 traffic and maybe hop on a Hardy, now we're talking $10 to $15 every day, because that's a toll to a toll, right? So it's definitely something that you're going to want to take into consideration if you're thinking about considering calling this place home. Is that you're on 99, and to get out to 99, you're at the mercy of taking 99, which means you're on a toll. And so that would be interesting. That's something that I haven't been living in a place in a while where I was forced to take a toll. And so that would be interesting in the numbers that we're running in the event that we are approved to get somewhere out there and we can't afford to be out there. It's definitely going to be something that we're going to have to run the numbers and be like, okay, so how are we going to navigate being forced to take $20 in tolls every day? Right. And it's just something that you have to think about. So that's definitely a con about being in that location. All right. The next con is that the prices are raising fairly quickly. And so this is, like I said earlier, this is the fastest and the least expensive that this community will ever be. You still have builders that are building in the 40-foot sections. I think it's 40 and 45-foot sections under 400,000. But your options are kind of they're leaving you fairly quickly. I think Coventry had a couple. David Weekley had a couple, both reputable, solid, gorgeous builders out here in the greater Houston and surrounding suburbs area. But that's about 18 to 1900 square feet for like $385 right now. And so in the grand scheme of things of what Harris County is doing, HAR just recently published their average single family home sale price was like $426,000. So that is south of what that is for the Harris County average. So you are able to still get in and get something brand new. And that's always a good sign for me as far as the values of an area, is if you can get something brand new of some decent amount of size and still be under what the Harris County number is. And you can still do that currently in the Highlands in Porter, Texas. So I definitely think that it is a great buy. But do I think that those prices will last long? No. The moment those amenities are up and starting to kind of look pretty and you start to get those different sections being built out, that those prices are going to skyrocket. And so you definitely, this is the least expensive that it will ever be out there. You're definitely going to want to take advantage of kind of where it is right now in the phase of construction that it is right now, so that you can see and get in at the least expensive amount as possible. And the last thing that is a con to me, and it's not as bad as some of the other places and other suburbs that I've recently toured and communities, is that the taxes are fairly high out here, but they're not as high as Sunterra or high as Manville or Iowa Colony, Meridiana, one of the places that I were my number one spots before, or as high as Town Lake or Meridiana. Not Meridiana, I already said Meridiana. You see, I really love Meridiana. Or Bridgeland. Those places have tax rates that are in like 3.5, 3.6ville and higher. And so with an entry point of 400,000 with a tax rate that high, you're going to have issues where you're paying over $1,000 a month in taxes, right? And in some of those locations, it's just way worse. Out here, the tax rate was like 3.3. So before Homestead, that's one of the lowest tax rates that I've probably seen in the last year, with a new community that's going to look this gorgeous and have the amount of homes that it's going to have. So if you can get in somewhere that is this gorgeous, that has a tax rate that's fairly affordable, it makes it a more realistic play of somewhere that you would want to be, and to also have brand new. It's always a plus, but it is going to be, a struggle for some, because some of these houses go up to like nearly $1 million. I think one of the models that I was walking in for Drees was like $750,000. So if you have a 3 something tax rate, just quick and dirty math, that's $21,000 a year in math just for taxes, right? So that's not in addition to your principal, interest, and insurance that you're going to have to be out there, right? So it is definitely an expensive place. It is definitely at a tax rate that is, now that's pre-homestead. You're going to be able to reduce some of that burden on you just with some of the exemptions that you're going to have at your disposal. But going into it, you have to know that you are going to pay a little bit higher tax than you would if you were in the city of Houston and the surrounding suburbs. So how did I do? Did I sell this place to you? I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to see it when it's completely built out. Check them out. Like I said, they got the shopping, they got the groceries, they got everything near you. Anything that you could need, anything that you could want is within your reach. You're in between this place where you're close to New Caney, close to the Woodlands. You're not too far from Houston. You're like 30, I think it's like 30 miles from Houston. It's super close to Houston. But depending on when you need to be there and the traffic and all that stuff, right? It's really just a great location for you. I think they have nearly 15 builders out there, so you can literally have whatever lifestyle that you want to have out there at a price point that's going to work for you. So how did I do? Is this somewhere that you can call home? If it's something that you're interested in taking a tour, feel free to hit me up. I hope I didn't scare you away, and hopefully we're going to end up being neighbors out there one day. I love the community. It's super gorgeous, and it's number one on my list right now as somewhere that I would want to pursue to live. So that's the video for the day. If you have any questions at all about where to eat, sleep, live, play, hit me up morning, noon, or night. I'm your guy. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you have an amazing day.